Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Suzanne Gundersen from Screenwritenow. I help screenwriters and industry creatives to naturally de-stress and get focused into their creative rhythm and flow, build tremendous confidence, and deepen their emotional worldview into wisdom and truth. That way they can hook every audience. So today's video is a part of my Industry Wisdom Bit series, where I'm bringing you professionals in television and film to share with us one golden nugget of wisdom or advice that's helped them in their career and maybe can help you too. So today we're joined by Tim Albaugh. Tim, thank you so much for being here today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I've really enjoyed watching your videos over the last couple of weeks. And thanks for inviting me. I used to write full time, but now I've segued into producing. I am a partner in a company called Royal Viking Entertainment. In 2019, our company produced a film called Black and Blue with Tyrese and Naomi Harris from Sony Screen Gems. And our next film is a film called Worth, which will be premiering on Netflix on the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. It's the story of Ken Feinberg, who volunteered to be the special master of the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund. So that stars Stanley Tucci and Michael Keaton. And then one of our films after that is a film called The Startup, which was actually written in one of the private workshops that I teach through PROPATH Screenwriting, which is our private consultation company that we started a couple of years ago. And we offer one-day seminars, 10-week-long classes, coverage, one-on-one consultations. It kind of was born out of, I taught at UCLA for over 25 years. And one of my colleagues at UCLA and I were both preparing to exit working at the school to pursue other things. And we decided, why don't we start our own consultation company? So Linda Voorhees and Jessica Yingling and I started this company, and we've had great success. One of our clients used a script that we consulted on to win the Nickel competition in 2020. And then 2019. And then in 2020, two of our clients were in the top 30. And then the film, The Startup, that we sold to eOne, that was also written in one of my private consultation classes.
Oh my gosh, I wish I had invited somebody who had any experience into this interview today. Oh my gosh, where do we begin? So many incredible things you've accomplished and done. Wow, I'm sure we could talk for hours.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing all that. It just sounds like your incredible experience. So it must have been hard for you to just whittle it down to just one gem or golden nugget for our audience today. So if you have something, I really would love to hear what's on your mind.
Yeah. Obviously I read a lot of scripts. My job within our company is to develop material with writers, and then my partner goes out and does the actual physical production and the selling and doing all the business stuff. So I work exclusively with writers. And what I find either through development with our production company or through our consultation service is that writers, they tend to be timid. And so I'd like to just kind of touch on just a couple of things real quickly here, 3 specific things. The scripts that I'm impressed by, or the writers that I'm impressed by, are writers who write with intention and purpose, who command the read right away, who grab you the minute you open the PDF or the script or whatever you want to call it. But even more importantly, we hear all the time people say, write what you know. When I start with new writers, working with new writers, they're always like, I got to write what I know. Everybody says, write what you know. And you'll have a writer who, the first meeting you have with them, their pitch is, I want to write a story about a dentist whose family doesn't understand him. And then the next week he'd come in and he'd be like, I want to write a movie about a truck driver whose family doesn't understand him. And every week it was a different character, but it was the same emotional problem. But the ideas lacked intention and purpose. And so I'd like to just cite 2 examples from my personal experience of a writer who took what they felt and turned it into a story as opposed to what they know. So I have a friend, his name is Stephen Bagatorian. He wrote a movie called All Eyes on Me, which is the Tupac Shakur biopic that was out a couple summers ago. And he wrote a screenplay long time ago called Don't Fade Away, Funny Man. And it was the story of a comic who tells a joke that starts World War III. Comedy is outlawed throughout the world. All the comics have to go into hiding. They move underground and they are waiting for their savior to appear. And he appears in the form of a 12-year-old fat kid without a sense of humor. Yeah, great idea for a movie, ridiculous movie. I mean, it would cost $200 million to make it. It's insane. great roles for every comic on the planet.
Sure.
Was Steve a comic? No. Did he ever tell a joke that started World War III? Not yet. But what he was, or what he is a Armenian American who dropped out of high school and chose his own path in life, much to his family's chagrin. And so he was writing from a feeling of being judged, a feeling of persecution, a feeling of not being understood, a feeling of misunderstanding. And he took all of those emotions and put them into a story. This poster behind me here, Scott Kozar wrote The Machinist in my class at UCLA. Scott, at the time that he wrote it, was a brand new student in the graduate program at UCLA, was struggling with some personal issues, was writing a script that wasn't necessarily working. And we got to chatting about what he was interested in, what he was feeling, and he was going through a difficult time. His mother had just passed away. He just moved to LA, was living with his father in an apartment in the Valley, and he was just in a funk. And one night he was walking from the bus stop back to his apartment after going to school at UCLA, and there was some machinists working in a machine shop where he was walking by, and he just had the thought, what if he had the thought, do machinists have midlife crises? Because he was in the middle of a midlife crisis. And that's how The Machinist was born. And so I think it's really important not to write what you know. Scott wasn't a machinist. Steve wasn't a comic, right? But they wrote what they felt. And I think that in my experience, the scripts that move forward throughout the business and the process are not just scripts that have great concepts and easily identifiable stories, but also that have huge emotional journeys within them. I think we get so focused on plot, and cause and effect, we forget that movies and TV for that matter aren't just physical journeys, but they're also emotional journeys. And we need to connect to our characters, because I always ask my clients and my writers and the people who write for our company, what's the flashpoint? Where are you coming from with the story? What are you trying to say? Obviously, we have to find a plot to fit that into, but we always start from emotion first, not from story.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that so much, because so many people have shared write what you know, which just to me translates into this very heady society that we've lived in for so long. It has to be something that we can understand and consciously be aware of, as opposed to the embodiment of the feeling of it. So it's not write what you know or what you think you know, it's write what you feel. Right, what you feel, and the story will unfold in the characters that you create around the feelings of it. So thank you so much for sharing that, and also the examples of really how your students and even you kind of brought that to bring that to life, not just brought to life, but also bring it to life.
Yeah, I think now that's not to say that somebody's going to know right away what their movie's about when they sit down to write it. Obviously we respect the fact that everybody works in their own way. But I do feel like you ultimately have to find that thing that the movie is really about, right? The emotion. I always reference Ghost, that for many people I deal with, that's an old movie, right? But I was in my teens when that film came out, and that movie is all about second chances, and who hasn't done something wrong in their life that they wish they could rectify through a second chance, right? So that's what makes it universal. So it's an emotion. None of us are ghosts who are well, for all we know, none of us are ghosts who are racing to save our girlfriends or fiancés or partners from an evil villain, right? But we are all people who've made mistakes and would love a second chance. And so that's how that movie connects on a universal level to anybody, right? To anybody's experience. And I think it's important to find that core to your story.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why, when I work with writers, I help them to get into that emotional truth for themselves. That way they're not terrified to write from that place. I help them rise to a place of wisdom about it. That way they can feel safe in writing about it and not just going, oh, I can't write about that kind of stuff, because then they know they'll get triggered and they won't be able to come out of it. So when you've done your own work and you have the emotional wisdom about some of the experiences that you have you wish you had a second chance about, well, certainly you can write about it now, because now you can grab your audience at that point of their fear, their vulnerability, whatever the emotion is that you're trying to grab, convey to them, and then carry them home through the script.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's what you remember when you leave the theater, right? I mean, at the end of the day,
Oh,
you don't remember
yeah.
the plot. You remember the
No,
emotion, the
they got
feeling you
me.
have.
Oh my God. And then what are we going to do? Hey, help me, help me, help. Oh, don't worry, I got you. We're going to carry you home now. I love that.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, Tim, how can we find out what's going on with you now?
Yeah, sure. So our consultation company, we do obviously have a website. It's PROPATHScreenWriting.com, and we offer one-day seminars. In fact, yesterday we did a 4-hour seminar online, which was all about the business of the business. So we had Samantha Herman come in. She's a 6-time produced Hallmark writer who's also a practicing attorney, and we had a seminar about just the biz of the biz. What's an option? What's a shopping agreement? What happens? Should you copyright? Should you this? Should you that? So we do lots of one-day seminars, and we also are the development arm for a production company called Romcom Pictures, which is a production company that was created by 2 Hallmark producers who are looking to produce romantic comedies written by and starring underrepresented groups. So that's what we do, is we work with our clients to help develop their scripts to put them into that pipeline as well. And the startup, our next film at Royal Viking that we sold to eOne, that was written in one of our private classes as well through ProPath. So we offer one-day seminars, coverage, one-on-one consultation and classes, and that's at ProPathScreenWriting.com. And of course, we're on all the social channels, Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram, and
Links in the
Twitter.
description box of the video. That way people can definitely find out
Awesome.
where you are and start following you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of your time and your wisdom today. Thanks everybody for watching. Feel free to pop on over to my website, Screenwritenow, and download your free e-copy of 3 Steps to Get Pitch Ready. That way you can get into alignment with you and your script and hook your audience. Thanks everybody again, and we'll see you on the next Industry Wisdom Bits video.